All right, welcome back, y'all. Welcome to today's market recap or trade recap. Today is March 12th, 2026. I took one trade today. It was a dub. However, before we get into it, I have to show you guys something real quick. Scuba. Anyways, um, yeah, one trade today. It was a dub. P&L's on my Instagram story if you guys give a fuck, but that doesn't really matter. So coming into this morning, I pretty much had a neutral bias just because like the fucking daily time frame. Like my bias has been neutral for the past 67 fucking weeks. So that being said, this is what I was looking at. Let's go to NQ real quick because there's hella unnecessary drawings on NQ. That being said, I was really looking at a few things, right? We had an unfilled hourly beneath us, with an unfilled 4 hour that I really wanted to target. And I did want to see this giant bearish 1 hour get inversed. However, I wasn't going to let that hinder me from entering a trade if we didn't get that prior. And then same thing right here. If we were going to wait till 10 a.m. to take a trade, I wanted to see this bearish 1 hour or bullish 1 hour gap get inversed as well. And then we can take a trade down here towards sell side. So right at market open, there was a long, which I actually did not take and I did not like because we left this 5-minute or this 15-minute intermediate low right here. And we left it by literally a ball sack here. So if we come over here, we did leave equal highs with the unfilled 5-minute at market open and we got a resweep, which was beautiful. And then there was a 30-second inversion. If we come over here to top step, I didn't include my top step P&L on my Instagram story because it's literally only trading combines. But there was a 30-second right here. And it did end up playing out. But like I said, I didn't take this trade because I did not like how we edged that sell side. So here was the close right here. Your stops would have been somewhere in this general area. And then your TP would have been these equal highs right here, which was also the unfilled fair value gap. So this is what it looked like right here. And like I said, if we come to the 15-minute chart, there was this low that we left. Now, if we would have swept this intermediate low out and then continued higher, that would have been beautiful. And then on ES, same thing. We didn't take out the low either. The low was right here. We basically created relatively equal low. So at this point in time, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and short this if we get a reaction off this 5-minute gap right here. And we ended up coming up into this 5-minute gap. We created a 1-minute bullish for value gap right here with no wick created on this candle. So I was like, cool, if we get a V-shaped recovery, I'll go ahead and enter this. Let's go ahead and see how this plays out. Chop, chop, chop. And then all of a sudden, we get a 1-minute inversion right here. I'm a fucking idiot. And I hesitated on this, and I was like, okay, if it plays out, it plays out. I'll stay hands off. And it ended up playing out. And looking back on it, I shouldn't have actually stayed hands off. This was a beautiful setup, and I should have fucking took this. And it smacked TP. If I would have took this, I actually told myself that my TP would have been right here at this 15-minute intermediate low that we edged the first time. So it would have basically been like a 1-to-1 trade. And we ended up coming out and taking out those hourly lows to the left of us. So I was like, okay, where ES is now inside of a 4-hour gap, maybe we can see like a little retrace. We ended up hitting a 4-hour right here on ES. And then we ended up retracing into another 5-minute fair value gap right here. So I was like, okay, cool. We got another 5-minute fair value gap tap right here. NASDAQ has still left those 4-hour unfilled gap and that 1-hour unfilled gap to beneath us. I was like, this is beautiful. If we go to the 30-minute, and this is actually where I took profits, we had a 30-minute intermediate low right here, right? This 30-minute fair value gap with a low inside of it. So I was like, okay, I'll use that as my target because I'm really trying to aim just for like 1-to-1s recently and be more consistent. As soon as I started upping my RR, my win rate literally depleted. So now if I am upping my RR, it's partial wins like there was yesterday, but I'm really trying to just aim for those 1-to-1, 1-to-5 RRs, maybe 1-to-2s if price action is really fucking good. But yeah, so with that being said, we ended up retracing into this 5-minute bearish gap right here. And now I ended up journaling this as like a A- setup, depending on what your conviction was. Now I was convicted that we we're going to continue to go to sell off. So I ended up journaling this as an A-rated trade instead of an A+. Subjectively, it's an A+, or technically it's an A+ because we retraced into a 5-minute gap, got a 1-minute inversion out of it with speed. We had a valid break-even point. We had a valid target. But overall, like, we were already so fucking low. I missed my first setup right here. We already took out sell side right here. So ES was also inside of that 4-hour bullish gap. So to me, it wasn't A+, but it was still a good trade to take, especially if you missed the first one like I did. And then we ended up getting the 1-minute inversion. So I was waiting till we inverse both of these gaps. We ended up doing so. here's my entry right here. My stops were just above this last 1 minute gap. And then my TP was set towards this 30-minute intermediate low. Let's go ahead and see how this played out. Basically not a tick of drawdown. Went break even pretty quick at this internal low right here. And then, yeah, we ended up smacking TP. And then here is my trading executions on MNQ. I went in with 5 micros. And then as of right now, there was this short that just played out, but it fucking sucked because we left equal highs right here. So if I wanted to short this, I wanted to see these equal highs get taken out, and then we can go ahead and short. It didn't look too bad, right? We ended up edging it on the 3 minute, but we got the 5 minute closure. And then we ended up coming and tapping back into this 5 minute BPR, and we ended up rejecting this BPR. I mean, the targets were still clear down towards here, right? Here's our BPR like this. This was our BPR. I'll just mark that in green so you guys can see. It's looked pretty good as well. It kind of sucked just because of the equal highs above, but we've been leaving those a lot lately. If you guys watch my trade recap from yesterday, we left equal lows for 2 days and then finally hit it yesterday later on in the fucking session. So yeah, we've been leaving those a lot lately. If we come over here, maybe there's like a 30-second closure coming out of that 5 minute, and it looks like there was, oh my god, I always click the wrong one. Looks like there was right here with this candle. I mean, to me, we already took out the internal low right there. What time was this at? 10:27. So let's go to the 10:28 candle. That's when it would have closed on here. There I go again, clicking the wrong one. 10:28. Where's 10:28? So your entry would have been somewhere right here. Your stop's probably up here, and then your TP set to large, it's like right here, and then you could have went break even at this low. I mean, it did end up playing out. Again, it looks good, but if we zoom out and see the equal highs above, I mean, it just depletes the grade for this trade. But again, another one-to-one trade idea. It would have looked something like this. So all in all, if you took that, I mean, dubs for you. Not a bad trade overall, but like definitely could have been a lot better, especially if we swept out this liquidity right here, or maybe even created an SMT with ES, which, I mean, we did. But again, I hate leaving equal highs on NASDAQ. If we leave equal highs or lows on ES, that's pretty normal. But I mean, when we do that shit on NASDAQ, that shit fucking sucks because NASDAQ, I feel like, takes those out a lot more. But as of late, it hasn't been doing that. So, yeah. With that being said, that's going to be all for today. If you guys need new accounts on Lucid Trading, go check that out. Link is in the description for money off, code LoeGpa. And then same thing for Alpha Futures. It's the last day to get 25% off on the zero accounts. So use my code if you guys want. Or you guys can use any code. It doesn't fucking matter. Links in the description for that. Free Discord. Yep. One-on-one mentorship. All the links in the description for you guys, and I will see y'all boys tomorrow for Friday.